Hey, it's Jake Mace, the vegan athlete. How are all my gardeners out there, and how are all the fruit tree people out there, the treeple? How you guys all doing? I'm having a good day today. I did a couple gardening classes here at my yard, and I had about maybe 100 people come through this weekend or so, and they're all interested in gardening. It's really amazing to see how we have a lot of interests out there in our city here in Arizona that people are interested in gardening and growing their own food at home, which I'm really happy about. So if I look kind of frazzled right now, it's because I've been up since 5 a.m. getting ready and teaching all day long. And I just got back from eating a late lunch, and I figured since I'm in the teaching mode right now, I would show you guys some things that are growing in my edible landscape. I'm also trying out some new technology in this live video, so I figured that I have to try it out live with you guys, see if it works. I'm trying out some new really savvy selfie sticks and some new tech that's gonna make our live videos here really cool and really smooth. In fact, let me show you guys an example. I can actually run full speed right now with this stick, and it's smooth as silk. And if I spin around this way, look at how smooth it is. I'm running full speed right now, and it's kind of staying with me smooth like it's a movie. That's pretty cool. So we're gonna use some of this stuff we have here to give you guys a better live experience coming up here in the future. So let's go through my garden a little bit, and let me show you guys some things that I'm growing that are working pretty well in my garden. And one of them is this tree behind me. This is an ironwood tree, and I think anybody who's in my area in Arizona can't call themselves a serious gardener unless you have one of these trees, because this ironwood tree is the quintessential Arizona native tree. Mine is pretty big now. It's about, I would say, close to 15 feet tall, because I'm over 6 feet, and this guy's at least twice my height, maybe more than twice my height. I bought him for $7, and in 4 years he's grown this much. So what I would say to you guys is ironwood tree seems to be a great tree for the Phoenix area. I never water it. It exists off native water only. And when it flowers in the springtime, the flowers are edible. And then the flowers turn into edible pea pods that taste and look similar to edamame you would get at a sushi restaurant. Over here, I've got a Barbados cherry tree, also called acerola. Look at the size of this guy. He is pretty big. I would say he's pushing 11 feet tall right now. And he's got some good growth. These Barbados cherries do really well in Phoenix. They love the full sun, and they love the full heat, but they don't like the cold. This guy's been in the ground for almost 3 years now, maybe like 2.5 years. So he's already experienced 2 winters before. So I'm hoping that this year he will do a lot better, and he'll fare better this winter because he's more established. So definitely, if you're planting anything that's sensitive to the freeze, like if they're sensitive like a subtropical, okay, protect them for the first 1 or 2 winters and treat them like a baby. All right, let's see here. I had a good example today for the gardening class. I just learned from one of the docents at the botanical garden, the desert botanical garden here in Phoenix, that even a saguaro cactus, when it's a baby, it grows a lot longer and more dense needles. And the reason being is so that when it's a baby, it can shade itself with those needles. So if you guys go find a baby saguaro, you'll notice how it's covered in thorns, covered in needles. And what the docent told me was that for the first few years of a saguaro cactus life, it's 70% shaded by those needles, 70%. So that really made a lot of sense to me as a gardener, because now I know that even a saguaro cactus, the most native of native desert plants, the saguaro is the quintessential Arizona native plant. Even a saguaro needs 70% shade for the first few years. And then once it's established, it gets smaller needles and it can handle the heat. So when you guys are planting a fruit tree, you've got to baby it through those first couple summers and first couple winters. Once it's hardened off and it's mature, it can do pretty well on its own. So the Barbados cherry is one of those guys. It can take the full sun, but it needs some frost protection. One tree that is my favorite to plant in Phoenix area that doesn't need that much protection is this guy right here, the date. And I've got 20 date palms now in my garden here, and the date palm lives for over 100 years, produces hundreds of pounds of fruit per year when it's mature. And these are 3 varieties, 1, 2, 3 back there, that are doing pretty well. This is a China Ranch Black, China Ranch Gold, and a Black Sphinx. And I've gotten these date palms from all over the place. So they've been one of my favorite fruit trees. I actually really would like to move to an area of the world that you can garden more favorably, you know, like a tropical climate, or maybe a Pacific temperate climate like British Columbia. But the reason why I'm still here in Phoenix, the only reason, is literally because of these date trees. I'm so excited about the prospect of growing my own dates and how many varieties of dates I have planted that I'm staying here in Phoenix and keeping my urban farm here, which we've called Longevity Gardens, because I want to see these dates grow, and hopefully I'll have someday 20 date palms that'll be producing maybe 200 pounds of dates per year each. Dude, that's 4,000 pounds of dates per year, and that's going to be quite the harvest of edible food in my front and backyard. So if you can produce 4,000 pounds of food from just one type of tree per year in your front and backyard on a 1/3 of an acre like mine, you're doing pretty good. So I think date palms definitely gotta be one you guys gotta go find. And I had about 9 of them, but I just sold out. And people seem to like the deal that I got for those date palms. So if I go over here, another edible tree I love for the Phoenix area is the carob. And this carob right here used to be a baby tree, but it was like an adolescent baby. It was like a young teenager. It had already flowered, so I knew for sure it was a female, because you want to get the female one. Not all trees are male-female, but carobs are. And this carob is the way that the desert dwellers here in Phoenix can get chocolate, because it puts off an edible bean pod called carob bean pod, C-A-R-O-B, and it can be a chocolate substitute with no caffeine, with less fat, and lots of nutrients. And so this guy now is doing pretty well. This will eventually, mark my words, this will eventually be the largest tree in my yard. Because I know my friend Seamus O'Leary has a mature one that's got easily a 60 feet of height and 50 feet of width, and the canopy is like 20 feet high. So you can like walk, you can put like a 20-foot tall truck underneath it, and it's like a treehouse tree. So eventually this tree will be the largest one in my yard, which is why we gave it a lot of space. So it has a lot, see my dogs wrestling there. They're practicing their dog style kung fu. I gave this guy a lot of space so that he can grow and fill this whole area, and eventually we'll have like a nice little outdoor seating area here. We can get the shade and the microclimate that's pleasant for humans underneath this carob tree. So I definitely recommend growing a carob tree in Phoenix. And along the same lines, similar kind of tree that does very well here, also produces a lot of food, is the pecan tree. I got 2 pecan trees, and I was telling my tour group today, all the gardeners who are interested in growing their own food, this is a weird time right now. We've hit a crazy time where a lot of people from all walks of life, people that are wealthy, that are poor, that are middle class, business owners, business workers, and everybody in between. Everyone's interested in gardening and growing their own food, either in their backyard, front yard, on a patio, or in some serious land like a few acres. But if you think about Phoenix, think about Camelback Mountain. Okay, Camelback Mountain has had a lot of food being grown around it for hundreds of years, since before Arizona was even a state. And if you guys know anything about the history of the Phoenix area, the three main types of food that was being produced by Camelback Mountain was citrus trees. There are still citrus groves to this day by Camelback. Also, a lot of date palms and pecans. And to this day, if you go into Arcadia, kind of by 44th Street and Camelback, that area in there, kind of where Paradise Valley and Phoenix meet, you will still see a wide variety of pecan trees and date palms and citrus trees, because the urban sprawl of the modern day has pushed a lot of those fruit trees out, but there are still many of them left over that are doing quite well there, and you can still see they're thriving. So if you're a Phoenix area gardener interested in growing some food, if you're interested in growing just beautiful plants, you know, you're still probably pretty cool, but you're super cool in my book if you're growing food. And pecan, date, and citrus are three really, really good varieties of tree to grow in the Phoenix area if you want to grow some serious food. We're gonna walk over here before it gets dark to my main garden area. And then if you guys have any questions, answer them or put your questions in the comments and I'll answer them below. And also, I forgot to mention, I do these videos for free. No one's paying me for this stuff, so please hit the like button for me, hit the heart button, hit the wow face, and also hit that share button. The share button is the most important button because it helps to get the word out about gardening at home. And also I put a link in the description of this video. It's either up here or down here. I forget where it is. It's either here or here, somewhere. There's a link that I just posted to YouTube. If you click on it right now, the video might still be uploading. So click on the link to YouTube and check it out. I just harvested my first dragon fruit in my backyard, and I chose to video it for my vegan athlete YouTube following out there. So if you guys watched my video from about a month ago where I woke up at night at 10 o'clock at night and I went outside and I pollinated the dragon fruit flower, and I wasn't sure if it would actually take. It took, and the dragon fruit grew. It was ripe today. I just picked it and I was pleasantly surprised at what was on the inside. So if you want to see what was inside the fruit, go to that link that's in the description, the YouTube link, and click on it and watch me eat the dragon fruit. It's remarkable. I'm so excited for that kind of, that style of fruit. Back behind me is my main garden, and this is the best time of year to be growing a garden in the Phoenix area. And because it's very warm here in the wintertime, and Phoenix area residents can grow a lot of winter greens. So right now I have a lot of winter greens growing. I have some dinosaur kale, lacticino kale down below here. I've got a lot of Swiss chard right here with beets in between, cilantro, and sweet peppers. If you guys look above that, up there, you will see I've got Asian yard-long beans growing up the trellis that put off a bean pod that is literally a yard long. It's pretty amazing. My favorite kind of bean. And if you guys pan over here, you'll see how I got a forest of basil. Pretty much a lot of this down here is volunteer carrots and sweet peppers. I picked up the pepper plants from Suzanne Villardi with villardigardens.com. And then I have basil all in this area. There's 6 varieties of basil. Serrated, there's Thai basil, there's holy basil, there's lemon basil, there's cinnamon basil, and sweet basil. And I'm gonna make pesto out of all of that coming up here before the freeze happens. In the back of my garden, I see that Janine Sander jumped in here, and my neighbor Jack Davis, she runs Epic Yard Farm. If you guys check out Epic Yard Farm on Facebook. And my friend Janine, she does a lot of gardening at her home as well. She also rescues pugs, and they hooked me up with some of this incredible purple sweet potato vine. And now it's growing out of control. And I believe that, at least I've been eating it, that the greens are edible like spinach, because I've been eating them, and also the tubers below the ground of the purple sweet potato. And I wanted to show you guys something here. I wanted to show you how delicious. See, this is why I'm trying out this new technology. I'm not quite used to it yet. I'm gonna figure it out here. There I am, right there. I got this kind of sweet pepper growing, and it looks like a jalapeno pepper, but it's not. I don't know if Suzanne Villardi remembers what variety it is, because I forget what variety it is. If you guys like this video so far, hit the like button right now, hit the heart button, hit the share button, and hit the wow face for me. I want to see that stuff float across the screen. I love seeing it. But this guy looks like a spicy jalapeno, but he's not. He's a sweet pepper and really has a lot of flavor. The taste is pretty much identical to a jalapeno with no spiciness. So at first, it tricks you. You eat it and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm in trouble. It's gonna be too spicy. But then, it's all right. It's pretty good. And behind me here you can see all the basil growing back here. All this is basil that'll probably die out for the frost. And I saw my friend Gabriel Miranda's in there, and Gabriel is responsible for hooking me up with these incredible tomatillos. I'm gonna really quick turn the video around backwards. So you ready? 1, 2, 3. If you guys can see down here, I got all these incredible tomatillos that are in these husks, like little lanterns, like Chinese lanterns you would get around Chinese New Year. And inside there is a green tomato that'll ripen in a little bit. I brought these back from Center, Colorado. My friend Gabriel and his family, Yesenia and all the family out there in Center, they hooked me up with these tomatillos, and they have been growing prolifically for me for years now, for about 2 years. And they do great, and they're growing in the midst of all the basil. So if you guys look through here, there is basil flowers, which are edible. The flowers are edible. They also attract bees. The best bee pollinator in my yard is basil. And in between are all the tomatillos in the husks here. This one has got a really nice one right there. Let me see if this one is ripe here. Let's check it out. So that's what it looks like. And then let me show you guys what it looks like on the inside here. I'm gonna flip you back around. Before I flip you around, let me show you guys the sweet potato. If you look back in here, that's all the sweet potato growing with lemongrass in the middle. So lemongrass and sweet potato. And then, oh, you know what just happened? I just accidentally snapped off a delicious green bell pepper. I usually wait till these guys are red, but this guy just snapped off by mistake, and I'll still eat them. And if I pan up this way, you guys can see how there's still more on the vine here. Hit the like button for that. Hit the heart button for that. That is pretty cool. And if I go over here, put my hand in there, I can show you guys these red peppers which are ripe and ready. What I found is that these peppers are as sweet as strawberries. They're very, very sweet, very, very good. Show you guys what they taste like right now. Trying to use this new tech here. Let me show you guys the taste. And here's a good example. I got some ants on me right now. My pepper plants do attract ants. Not too many, just a few, but they don't hurt the plant. They just kind of, they eat the aphids off if there ever are aphids, and they help to keep my soil nice and fertile. Oh my God. That is like so tender. It almost tastes like meat. Before I was vegan, I was 19 when I went vegan. I was a big meat eater. And that right there almost tastes like meat. It's like as tender as like a good steak, if I remember correctly from back in the day. Maybe I've just been vegan too long and I forget what steak tastes like. Yeah, that's how vegan I am now, that I'm starting to think that sweet peppers taste like steak. Oh my God, I'm such a nerd, man. I'm like the ultimate, what's the word I'm looking for? Vegan in denial. So, my sweet peppers taste like T-bone steak. Like filet mignon. Anyways, it's very, very good, very tender. That's my point. It's very tender. But the tomatillo looks like this. And you peel off this paper like stuff, and on the inside is a green tomato which has a sticky film all over it. It's kind of sticky. It'll get your hands all sticky. When you eat it, it's kind of like a sweet tomato, but it's not really tomato taste. It's kind of got its own taste. Oh, very sweet. See, on the inside it's got seeds like that. So what happens is that usually I can't eat all of them, and so maybe about 10 or 20 get left in the raised bed, and then they rot, become the soil, and they grow the next year. So most of my garden over here, most of my main garden center that you guys are looking at, most of it is volunteer. Most of it kind of just grows on its own and comes back the following season. The tomatillo did not taste like filet mignon. It tastes like tomatillo. But I'll walk you guys over here for a sec, and I'll show you. I got a big, like a forest of mint over here. This raised bed back here is all mint, all in here. And usually what I find is that the mint tends to sprawl out and become kind of invasive, and so we have it in its own raised bed right here. Let me walk you guys over here for a sec, and while I do that, I'm gonna look at the comments. If you guys have a question or you want a shout out, give me a comment right now and I'll give you a shout out here in the live feed. That seed will germinate. This tree right here is really impressive. Anybody out there who has roots in India will know this tree. It's Neem, N-E-E-M. The Neem tree is like the tree of life, and there's over 200 known medicinal uses for neem, including a lot of folks believe, and there's research to show, that it has positive effects on helping to cure, prevent, and heal people from diabetes. It also is used as a contraceptive, and people use neem oil in their garden to keep pests away. So this neem tree I picked up from Seamus O'Leary's, and it's been one of my favorites over the years, and really is an amazing plant. I feel if I just kind of let the neem massage my skin, that the oils are healing me from anything that the city is throwing at me negative. And now, sana sana, colita de rana, all better. I'm all cured. I also eat the neem. So we take the neem leaves, they're kind of bitter, and all good medicine is bitter, and we put it in our smoothies and things like that. So let me look at the comments here really quick. I'm gonna also upload this video to the Vegan Athlete YouTube channel. So if you guys were there in about a day or two, check out this video again on the Vegan Athlete channel. But if you guys can, please hit the share button and help share our Urban Gardening in Arizona Facebook group, which is approaching 9,000 members very soon. Let's see here. We got Greenie's Garden in here. Thanks, Greenies, for coming in. We got Jeff and Laudan. Great to have Laudan out there in my live feed. How's everything going, Laudan? We got Deanna. Do you have Jamaican cherry or strawberry tree? You know, I don't. And I think that the strawberry tree, I know Seamus O'Leary sells them, and I think that they can be cold sensitive. So make sure if you're going to grow that, maybe container grow it, maybe nurse it through the first few winters. But, you know, I've seen gardeners here in the Phoenix area growing a lot of stuff. So I would say try it out and see what happens. Hey, hey Daisy, thanks for the compliment. Thanks for watching. We got Jav out there. Oh, thanks for coming to the tour today, Jeff. We got Raul. Do you spray a leaf supplement to help for winter protection? You know, I spray tree food into the leaves of my trees. We call it a foliar feed. We spray a nutrient solution with sea kelp and micronutrients into the leaves on a monthly basis, but I don't think you can spray it during the cold weather to protect against the cold. What you do is you spray the foliar feed on the trees during the whole year, which improves the health and the strength of your trees, which will then in turn make them more resilient to the heat, to the cold, and to pests. So a healthy tree equals a tree that's more resilient to the elements. Who else is out there? Greenie's Garden. New equipment is smooth. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's pretty smooth. But I can't quite get... Oh, there we go. Now it's following me. I'm trying to get better at this thing here. We got here, let's see, who else is out there? My friend Jack Davis. Go follow Jack at Epic Yard Farm. Thanks for coming in, Jack. We got Deanna saying that pecan will be twice as big as the carob. Oh, totally. And what I'm noticing is that the carob and the pecan are increasing in growth exponentially. And so they grew kind of slow for the first year or two, but now they're almost doubling in size every year, which means they're getting bigger, and then that growth is improving by 2 the next year. So they're growing rapidly. We got my friend Jeff Hawkinson. What's up, Jeff? Thanks for coming in here. Let's see here. Raul is asking, are pecans low growers? I don't know what you mean by that. Maybe you can help to explain that comment there. Hong is asking how big my property is. 1/3 of an acre, Hong. 1/3 of an acre. Let's see here. We got David Evans. I'm gonna need some help on your first name. Is it Rays or Rise? David Evans? Shout out from Wales. Thanks for coming in here. Thanks for watching the video. Oh, Raul, are they slow growers? Yeah, pecans are known as slow growers, but it also depends on your soil. If you water them right, if you have good, healthy, nutrient-dense soil, then they will grow faster. Let's see here. We've got, who else is in here? We got James, my friend James Madison. Thanks for joining in here. We got Mario. Yo, what's up, Mario? And Gabriel Miranda. Thanks for coming in. We got Joni. Thanks for commenting. Yeah, the dogs, they stick with me the whole time. They're always by my feet. They like to follow me around. So the whole live feed, watch, if I walk away, she'll come along for the ride. I won't even have to call her. Watch, she'll come over in a second. There's Venus. We're back here in the corner of my yard, which I showed today. My group today that came to the garden tour, I showed them how I have this moringa tree right here, which was a volunteer moringa that I didn't even plant here. It popped up on its own. And now it's just growing as a volunteer, and it's using the water from my Mexican elderberry, which is right next door. So this Mexican elderberry is getting some shade protection because this moringa has been a good parent to the elderberry. So they're working together and they use the same water system. Then I have this really cool area where I love these cactus that I'm growing right here. It's 3 variety of prickly pear cactus that have the largest prickly pear fruit called tunas that I've ever seen on a nopalitos before. And so next year, I haven't had them fruit yet. I took 1 pad off of each cactus and I planted 1 pad, and now it's growing into this cactus and they'll fruit next year, I'm hoping. And it's raining right now on me. I just felt the drop on my head. Luckily, I have the new iPhone, which is supposed to be waterproof. So if it starts raining, we're gonna keep this live video going. We're gonna see if Apple really is waterproof now. Let's check it out. Let's see here, we got, who else is in here? We got Luke, Janine, we got David. Yeah, tree collards, man, get them. We've got, let's see, who else is in here? We got David, saying I'm a cool nerd. Thanks, David. We got Marina. We got Abdullah, my friend Abe, the date master. What's up, Abe? Thanks for coming in my live feed here. Let's see here. We got Lori. Hey, Lori. Lori, what are you asking me? Do I plant now? Which plant are you talking about? We got Ivan from Miami. What's up, Ivan? Hey, Abe. Yeah, the weather is beautiful. Oh my God. Like, this is, I was telling the gardening group today, this is the best time of year for gardening because the trees have not lost their leaves yet. They still got their leaves on them, but they haven't gone dormant yet, and it's still warm enough to enjoy the outdoors, but it's cold enough that the trees are like exhaling, like, ah, thank God the summer is over. And we've got here, we got JM. Thanks for the compliment, man. We've got, who else is in there? We got Chris. Yep, Chris, I just showed you a few date palms. I'll show you a few more in a second. These are the 2, my friend Abe, he has a really nice Facebook page. I'm about to post a video I just did with Abe. It's gonna go up next week on my Vegan Athlete channel. And I got some medjool date palms from Abe, and one is right here by Pepper. This is one of the medjools that Abe had in his yard. They're 3 years old, and I just planted them. Hey, Pep, come here. Pep, come here. So see, the date palm is right there, and hopefully it'll fruit next year, maybe the year after. And then over here is another date palm over there. I put them side by side, so they're kind of like the twin towers of medjool date palms. We've got Leonidas. Thanks for the compliment, man. We got Megan. Who are you asking about, Megan? Where is he located? Who are you asking about? Can you clarify down there? We got, let's see here. Who else is in there? I'm trying to get to everybody. Janet, Eric. We got Fabian. Shout out to Hernandez Farms in South Phoenix. What's up, Fabian? let's see here. We got Barrett and Derek. And I'm trying to get to you all. Christina! We got, if I can't get to you right now, I'm gonna answer the questions later in the comments. We got Sarah from Sacramento. Isaac, yeah, beautiful weather, man, I love it. We got Adam, always good info. Thanks, Adam. We got Adria. Is that how you say it? Or maybe it's Adira. Oh my God, help me with your name. I'm sorry if I'm botching it. The Acerola Cherry Hedge. You guys, you've watched my videos for a while. It didn't make it. I was stupid and I thought that the Acerola could make it through the winter. I planted the hedge in the fall time. It didn't give them enough time to root out, and so the cold knocked them back and took them out. So instead I planted a hedge of Bonanza miniature peach trees in their place right here. So I'll show that next spring when they come out of dormancy. Thanks for watching the YouTube videos there. And you guys, I want to thank you guys for coming in here. So a little update as to my date palms. They're doing really, really well, and this one looks really pretty. This one is called an Abada date, and I like it a lot. It looks really nice, and it's got this nice structure and nice shape, and it's about, I would say, 8 feet tall. Because it's dwarfing me, the leaves go up pretty tall. They're going well above me here. And let me show you one more thing before we leave, is my papaya trees, and then it's gonna be time to cut this live feed off for the day because it's getting dark on me. The papaya trees are over here, and I just made a video with my friend Greg Peterson. He was over here and we did a video on the papaya. The Mexican papaya was ripe, which is the one I've been waiting for 2 years for to get ripe. Because you guys have seen me before talk about my Tai Nung #2 papaya. So if I go out here out the gate, you guys can see how these papayas right here are the Tai Nung #2. They're pretty big and amazing. They're like 15 feet tall. So they're more than double my height. And this one over here has had about 25 to 35 papayas on it this year alone. I've already eaten 20 so far. There's about 15 left on there. And the one next to it is in its first year. It's only 11 months old. And it's already grown 14 feet tall in its first 11 months from seed. And so that will show you the difference between when I planted the other one, I wasn't planting them right. I was planting them in the wrong kind of soil. And this year, I did it right. And now this tree is just a monster papaya. Look at how tall they are. They're so big up there. But over here is a papaya that I like a lot. My friend David Rosenberg with the Arizona Rare Fruit Growers, he grew it from seed, got it to 6 inches tall, and then I planted the 6-inch tall seedling. And that was last year. And this is a Mexican papaya that actually has, let me flip the camera around so you guys can see. Ready? This Mexican papaya has really, really large papayas that are getting ripe right now. You guys see them on there? The YouTube video is coming tomorrow. So look out for the YouTube video, or not tomorrow, but next week. I'll have a YouTube video on the one that we ate. It was literally the tastiest, most delicious papaya I have ever eaten in my entire life. That's my waterfall there that feeds the river, that gives the fish oxygen. If you can up here, you guys can see the bridge out there in the distance that the water flows underneath. So I really like the Mexican, and here's why, because the Mexican papaya is shorter. It's only about 8 feet tall, see? That's the height right there, it's about 8 feet tall, which means for Phoenix area, it's less susceptible to the monsoon winds. The big ones behind me, you guys can see the big boys, the 15-footers, the Tai Nung #2, they're so tall that if a big monsoon comes in and gusts, it blows a lot of the leaves away. And I had that problem last summer. This summer they were okay, so they looked like studs because they didn't get blown away. But last summer they did, and it really it knocked them back a bit. You guys, I love y'all. Thanks for gardening and growing your food at home. Thanks for listening to me rant in this live video, and hopefully you guys enjoy some of the information and some of the successes I'm having gardening here in the desert in the Phoenix area. The one thing I want to close with today is what I told my gardening group, is that I really believe, my personal belief is that in today's world, your vote for politics, whether it's local politics or whether it's federal politics, the ballot you just cast a couple weeks ago for president and for propositions and for local offices, I think that matters much, much less than it used to in the previous generation or before that. I really do. I think you should still vote, of course, but I think that vote at the ballot box matters very, very little. In my opinion, in the current day, our generation, the real vote that matters is the one you vote with your money. The dollars. The dollars is the real vote, and that's a vote that doesn't happen every 4 years. The money vote happens every time you spend money, every day. And so I was telling my group today that if you guys give the money to the big corporations, you're going to empower the big corporations. And when America becomes an oligarchy, it's going to be because we voted for that with our money, you know? So I think that what's really important to do today is to put your money into you. Put it into you. Just take your money and spend it on you. Spend it on your front and your backyard. Put it into growing food at home. Because if you guys can grow your own greens and your own herbs and your own papayas and your own fruits and your own pecans, your own nuts, and your own moringa trees, your own medicine, if you can grow your own wheatgrass and juice it, if you can grow your own star fruits and your own dates and have a sweet tooth source, a dessert source at your property, not only will you be in better shape now than you've ever been before, but you'll be less prone to disease and illness, and then you'll live a longer life without sickness. I've done a lot of training in China. I did a study abroad in China in college. I do Chinese martial arts and I speak a little Mandarin. 我会说普通话可是现在我没有中国朋友所以天天我的中文比较不好 It's comparatively getting worse. And in China they have a belief that a healthy person lives a life without sickness and then dies quick. All right? Lives a life without sickness and then dies quick. But in America, what do you see happening around us? The opposite's happening. People are living a life and they're sick constantly. They're on medications constantly and then they die slow. And it's a drawn out illness. I think that we should be in the business of investing our money in ourselves, growing our own food at home, using the rock dust in our soil, using worm castings, using biodynamic, active, living compost in our soil, so that when the food is grown in our own front and backyard, it's nutrient dense, full of minerals, making us healthier and enabling us to live a healthy life without sickness. And then hopefully later in life, when we're good and old and ready, we'll die quick. That's my message for today, the Vegan Athlete message to you guys. I want to encourage you guys to become one of the treeple and grow your own food at home. And if you can, go vegan once in a while. I guarantee you, if you grow your own food at home, just by default, you'll eat more fruits and veggies because most people are stubborn. And when you grow it yourself, you're not willing to let that kale go to waste. All right? Have a great night. Have a great week at work this week. Try to have at least one day this week where you only eat fruits and vegetables like your man Jake Mace has been doing for 15 years. I'll see you guys on my Instagram and my Snapchat at Jake Mace Tai Chi and my Vegan Athlete YouTube channel. And I want to encourage you guys to share this video, watch it again if you want to, and click the link above to go to my latest video on dragon fruit and check out how delicious it was and what the color of the fruit was on the inside. I love you guys. See y'all next time. Treeple, I am out.